I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it, didn't seek it, didn't choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give an account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute. But eternity is in it. These are the wise words of the late, great Dr. Benjamin Mays. He talks about this precious thing called time. Region 5, my name is Joseph Wayne Daniels III. I am from Silver Spring, Maryland, getting my doctorate's degree in civil engineering at the University of Arkansas. I am a product of NSBE Region 2. I got my bachelor's degree from North Carolina A&T State University in Greensboro, North Carolina, taking me all the way to pursue my doctorate degree. I first want to say that I love you. It's the first thing I want to say, is that I love you. A lot of us don't hear that every day. And it's important, especially when a person who goes to a university that's 4% black, it's important when we get in rooms like this to be able to express ourselves and to also express the fact that we love each other, agape love, because that's important. Because we have all come here today, whether it be leaders, whether it be members of NSBE, to build, to explore, to become engineers, and to elevate. And that's why we are here today. We have advisors who give of their time, their energy, their money to make sure that we all become the next greatest thing to continue to explore, engineer, and elevate. So point number one for me on today. If you hate when your time is wasted, nod your head and say, mm-hmm. Well, here's my question for you. Is your attitude wasting your time? Is your attitude wasting your time? Now I'm going to tell you a story. I am from Silver Spring, Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. When I traveled across Tennessee, I got to Memphis on the east side. And then I crossed the bridge on the west side, and there's nothing there. And the whole time traveling down 40, I said, I do not want to do this. So for my very first test as a doctoral student, I lowered the curve. I got a 67 out of 100 on my very first test in graduate school. My attitude, I did not want to be there. I drove up and down 540, and I'm like, why am I in Arkansas? I am an East Coast guy. What am I doing in Arkansas? So I found myself one day taking a shower, because I do that every day. I promise. And I just got in, so the water was still very hot. And I let it fall down my back. And I began to think about how can I make this a better experience, because I will be here for 5 years, and it's only been 5 months. So I started going through different words after looking at attitude. So if you have something to write with, and you should, because this is a conference, you've been here all weekend, let's look at this equation about how your attitude might be wasting your time. First, attitude changes perspective. Perspective unveils understanding. Understanding develops awareness. Awareness yields priority. Priority orders time. Is your attitude wasting your time? I'm going to say it again. Attitude changes perspective. Perspective unveils understanding. Understanding develops awareness. Awareness yields priority. Priority orders time. So is your attitude wasting your time? I thought about that for a long time, because what if you are in calculus and you have come to the semester understanding that you have the hardest professor in the entire section of calculus. You hate it. You hate math. You're trying to figure out, why am I in engineering if I hate math? You already have a negative attitude. So what perspective do you have going into calculus? When you have that perspective, you then understand that you probably are not that good at it. And once you understand that you're not that good at it, you begin to develop an awareness that you're not going to do certain things because you are aware that you suck at it mentally, in your mind, right? And then as you get that awareness, your priority says, I'm going to go to a party and not a NSBE study session. I'm going to go and hang out at the cafeteria for a longer period of time than to go study, than to go to get my tutoring. All because your attitude towards calculus was just difficult. And that's just calculus, y'all. I'm talking about things that deal with life. If you're going to enter into a space, if you're going to enter into a work world where it may just be you in the building, you have to have that attitude. Your attitude and your mindset have to be right in order for you not to waste your time. So I ask you on today to choose your attitude. You chose a good one because you came to the Fall Regional Conference this year. So as you go back to your university, continue to choose your attitude, because calculus won't defeat you if you have a good attitude. Thermodynamics, circuits, biochemistry, they won't defeat you when you have a good attitude. So don't allow your attitude to waste your time, because taking it again is a waste of time and money. We can't have that. So continue to have a good attitude. You got this. You got this. Companies came here for you because they want you. You got this. You got the interview because you got this. You're getting a job because you got this. Who's graduating in December? You got this. Who's graduating in May? You got this. Just make sure that you put your attitude in the right perspective so that you do not waste your time. Point number 2, you got to choose your attitude because it's time for all of us, including myself, to elevate. We talked about elevate this weekend. And so I'm here to tell you that the sky is not your limit. Okay? The sky is not your limit. The sky is your starting point. Let me explain. Carter G. Woodson said, "Those who have no record of what their forebears have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from the teaching of biography and history." That's a mouthful. I'll read it again. Carter G. Woodson, he said, "Those who have no record of what their forebears, what their ancestors, what their grandparents, what their parents have accomplished lose the inspiration which comes from the teaching of biography and history." In this country, there was a time that black people weren't allowed to read. In this country. We hate books now, but in this country, books for black people were better than gold. This country, your forebears. But we as a people, we fought for access to basic education. So we once couldn't read. Then we were given a one-room shack where we put 40 kids in one room shack with one teacher on wooden benches so that they could just learn algebra. But we didn't stop there, you see. A generation of people fought to get fair and equal education. Is Kansas in the room? Is anybody from Kansas in the room? Okay. Well, there were people from Kansas in the room, in Topeka, Kansas, for the Board versus Brown versus Board of Education. And so we see this continual fighting. We see their sky being their limit. We see this continual fighting so that we, you, I, can have equal opportunities to elevate, to be an engineer, and to explore. We had pioneers shortly after that who went into universities like the University of Oklahoma, University of Texas. Who else is here? The University of Arkansas, Texas Tech, the University of North Dakota, the University of Iowa. Who else is in the building? Help me out. All right. All of y'all's university. Amen. And so if we fast forward from there, 1975, what happened, y'all? Y'all should know this. The Chi-Town Six, the Chicago Six, John Logan, Edward Coleman, George Smith, Stanley Kirtley, Brian Harris, and Anthony Harris, they founded this. They founded us. They founded the National Society of Black Engineers with a mission to increase. To increase. Because we are here trying to figure out how we're going to do this thing, but their mission in 1975 was to increase. So we stand on the shoulders of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. We are the product of people who elevated their game to elevate an entire race of people. And so the sky is what they were able to reach. And so you, my friends, the sky is your starting point. We stand on the shoulders of greatness. So they've done their part. Now it's time for you to do your part. It's time to elevate, y'all. Region 5, it's time to elevate. You have to elevate your walk. You have to elevate your talk. You have to elevate your attitude. You have to elevate your network. You have to elevate your mindset, your service. You have to elevate your community. You have to go vote to elevate your voice. Have you voted yet? Elevate, 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 elevate. You have to continue to elevate. If you get left behind when you have a body of people around you to support you, it's your fault. We are here to love you. We are here to care for you, but you have to continue to elevate. I am almost done. You may be asking, well, we're just students. How do we elevate? Well, you have to become pure explorers of knowledge. Pure explorers of knowledge, and not just transferers of information. You have to become pure explorers of knowledge and not just transferers of information. Let me explain. I was sitting in Fayetteville, Arkansas at Arcega's, the coffee shop on Dixon Street, y'all. If I get an amen? All right. And I was sitting there and I was working on my dissertation. And an old student came by. I used to be a TA. And he said to me, he said, man, I have this one class where if you get a 57 or above, you pretty much got an A in the class. Who has a teacher like that, professor like that? All of y'all. All of y'all. Right. And so as I bring it back and I make my point, what we have to stop doing, and I understand that we get test banks. Wait, I'll come back to that. Let me finish. And so he starts to talk to me, and he has an accent, so I'm trying to break through. But he's pretty much saying that he has the old tests. He has all the old homeworks. And it doesn't matter what he does, he still can't break the mold. And I asked, who is your professor? And when he told me, I said, you have a professor who is a pure explorer of knowledge. If you do not explore knowledge in the same rate that he is exploring knowledge, you're not going to pass his class. And I say that understanding that I came from a culture and a background that A's are important. I'm going to brag on myself really quickly. I had a 4.0 for 5 semesters as an undergraduate student. I graduated with a 3.97 from undergrad. I do not remember everything that I did in undergrad. I probably don't remember 90% of the things that I learned. Now, why is that, Joe? I don't know. I was a proficient transferer of knowledge or information. What's on the test, Professor? Who has asked that question before? What's on the test, Doc? Well, learn what's in chapter 1 and what we studied from the homeworks 2, 3, and 4. Did anybody go back and study homework 4, 5, and 6 in chapter 2? Because you are looking to become a transfer person of information. Who is that person, you might ask? That is all of the people who are saying that their jobs suck and they want a raise. You have to become explorers of knowledge. And once we do that, we begin to break the mold. We begin to break through. We do not allow small things to get in our way because we understand how to navigate and break through. So that's my final point, NSBE. As you leave here, I'm asking that you continue to elevate, but as you go back to your universities, I'm asking that you become an explorer of knowledge. It doesn't only have to be the knowledge that you're seeking within your major. It could be anything within the community, within politics, within art, within leadership. So NSBE family, as we leave the conference, return as an explorer of knowledge rather than just a transfer of information. Return with the mindset to elevate yourself, but not just yourself, your family, your friends, your loved ones, your community, as the sky is now your starting point. And return with an attitude that no longer wastes your time, because we have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it, forced upon us. We can't refuse it. We didn't seek it. We didn't choose it. But it's up to us to lose it. We must suffer if we abuse it, give an account if we do the same. Just a tiny little minute. But my friends, I love you, and an eternity is in it. Thank you so much.